Hey everyone, Emily here and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making shakshuka, and this is one of my favorite things to make for breakfast, especially when I want to add a few more vegetables into my breakfast. This is a poached egg dish, and you poach it in a really easy to make tomato sauce. You probably already have most of the ingredients in your kitchen. I'll show you how to make this. Let's get started. There really isn't much to prep with this one. I'm going to start by dicing up one orange or yellow bell pepper. Those are my favorites to use with this one. I think it gives it just a little bit more flavor than a green bell pepper, but you can use whatever you have on hand. Just remove the core and all the seeds. And then I'll just cut that into some relatively thin strips. And then cut across the other way and you'll have a nice little dice. I'm also going to use half of one large yellow onion. To dice this up, I'm just going to cut it in half and leave the root end intact. Remove that outer layer of skin, and then I'll make cuts into the onion, leaving a little bit of space by the root, and I'll cut across those cuts like this. And finally across in the other direction, and that'll give you a nice even dice, and it holds the onion together really well also because you have that root end still intact. Perfect. You'll also want to mince a couple cloves of garlic. I'm going to use these little frozen garlic cubes. These are fantastic for cooking and such a time saver because I hate chopping garlic, and they are so much better than the jarred garlic. They have the same flavor as a fresh clove of garlic. Now I'm going to put my tomato sauce together, and this comes together really fast. So I'm just going to add in a couple, maybe 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, whatever you want, to coat the pan of olive oil. I'll add in my onion, my bell pepper, 2 cloves of minced garlic. I'm using those frozen cubes. And a few cracks of salt, maybe about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. And that'll help some of the moisture start to come out of the vegetables as they cook. And I'm just going to let this cook until everything is softened, and I'll stir it occasionally. Wait till the onions are translucent. My onions are starting to get pretty translucent. The bell pepper is softening up. This has just a couple more minutes left on the stove before I add in my tomato sauce. So at this point, I'm going to add in some of my seasonings. Now traditionally, I believe this is a Middle Eastern dish. I'm going to be adding in a couple of things that I prefer, so I'm not sure if this is an authentic recipe, but this is how I like it. I'm going to add in a couple shakes of cumin. I'll add in some smoked paprika and a few cracks of pepper. I already added some salt, so I'm going to leave that out for now and taste it closer to the end to see if I need to add in some additional salt. I'll let these spices cook with the onions and the bell peppers for just the last few minutes, and then I'm going to add in my tomato sauce. This is looking good and already smelling amazing. I'm going to add in a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes and let this continue to cook. These ones are fire roasted tomatoes. You can use whatever you want. You can also use some chunkier tomato pieces if you want this to have a little bit more texture to it. I like it to be a bit smoother. I'll let this cook on the stove until it reduces, and once it's thickened up a bit, it'll be just about time to add in our eggs. This has been cooking for a little while now, and it's started to reduce. I'm going to give it a little taste and see if we need to adjust anything. I'm going to add in just a little bit more salt, a bit more smoked paprika, maybe another 1/4 teaspoon, and I'd like it to have a little kick, so I'm going to add in some chili flakes. I'll give this a stir in, and you can see just how much the sauce has thickened up. I'm going to let this cook for a few more minutes. That'll let this thicken up a little bit more and also let those new flavors incorporate. This is already smelling amazing. My sauce is completely ready at this point, but I have a huge batch here and it's just me that's gonna be eating. So I'm going to take about half of it and transfer it into a smaller pan. And the other half, I'm going to save and make this later this week. My sauce is simmering in my pan. So what I'm going to do is take a spoon and just kind of make 2 little divots in here because I'm going to be using 2 eggs. Make a few more indents if you're going to be using additional eggs. Then I'll crack my eggs directly into the pan. Now you're just going to leave your eggs to simmer here over medium-low heat. This is gonna take a few minutes. You can cover them if you want to speed this up a little bit, but it's not necessary. And you can cook these to your liking. So I like to have a little bit of a runny yolk, so I'm gonna take that off when it's all the way set on the outside, but not fully set in the middle. You can cook these all the way through if you prefer. Just do it to your taste. These are looking great. I covered mine up for the last few minutes so they could finish cooking on top. These are ready to eat. I'm just going to sprinkle on a little bit of parsley. This will give it a nice color. And I love to eat this with slices of toasted bread or tortilla or naan on the side. This is really good for dipping. I have a nice piece of sourdough. I love to use crusty bread with this. It's so good for dipping. Let's see how it turned out. Perfect. Still a little bit of a runny yolk, and the tomato sauce is amazing. It's really good if you can get just a little bit of everything in your bite. So good. This really is one of my favorites. It has an awesome flavor and it's so easy to throw together. If you're a fan of eggs and you're looking for a different way to make them, I would really recommend trying this one out. Hope you like it. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon so you can get notified every time I post. As always, you can find the full recipe to this in the description box down below. If you try this out, or if you have a suggestion for the next recipe that I should try, don't forget to leave that in the comment section down below. Hope to see you back here next time.